now.
There is no
nope,
video. Okay.
was,
Hi, my name is Emma, and I'm co-host, and this is my grandpa Rod.
Hi guys. Hi Emma. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good, but wait, Instagram, we're having trouble streaming. All right, so why don't you tell them what's going on? Let me see if I can just click stream and fix the Instagram and get them back on. I've been practicing with this. I'm going to jump off the screen for a second. You good?
Yeah.
Tell them about it. Give me about 2-3 minutes, would you?
I don't know if I can do that.
All right, I'll watch you. I'll keep an eye.
Okay.
Right,
well, today we are talking about a lot about school, about like the same topic we were talking about in our last video, just the school system and stuff like that. And I know he also talked about talking about makeup because he loves to talk about that. But most of this video.
Hey, whoa! Wait a minute! Don't turn that around. Like I love talking about makeup. Were you thinking I'm not going to listen?
Makeup.
I'm doing that for you, girl. I know you're. And by the way, I do have a subject about that. But finish what you're saying. Give me a little bit more time.
See, you already have a subject about it.
I do have one.
You love talking about it.
I have sympathy for it, and it ties in to some of the other communities. It's kind of an interesting thing. I thought about this the other day. Well, actually, not the other day, not the last show, the show before the last show, and then a couple of shows ago. A couple of times you've said, what an awesome feeling getting ready for the day. It gives you that energy. It sets up that vibe. So tell them about the rest of our show besides the makeup. But we are going to talk about that, believe it or not.
Like what we've talked about?
Yeah, like what the show's about. Just what you were doing. I cut you off. Keep going.
Okay. So yeah, we have talked about a lot about school in our last video. We have also talked about parents and like the relationship with your parents and what parents and kids can do better. Talked a lot about social media for teenagers, just a lot about a teenager's life, basically all of that, social media, parents, school. Those are all the topics that we're trying to cover. Miss Lee.
Oh my goodness. You see this person right here?
Yes.
So that is a lady by the name, obviously, of Christina Chance. And her and I just kind of reconnected after a number of years. She's involved in this health product. Mm-hmm. And so she was talking to me about it, and her husband, and they're getting into retirement. But anyway, Christina says, I thought I was going to learn more about you, Rod. Well, let's learn about the both of us. So, yeah, that's exactly right. What we're about right now is bringing a voice, because so many people, you and I have talked about, well, we talked for about a year about the show before we started the show, and this is our 7th episode. Is that about right?
I think so.
All right. So do you remember why we started it? Do you remember why I started harassing you about starting it? Do you remember that?
I do not.
Yeah, you do.
To have a teenager voice on here?
Yeah, well, exactly. So this is about the great middle class. And Christina, to learn more about me, I have been working on this program. As you know, Emma, was also about starting this book of these 13 chapters and producing that book. And then it became this monster in itself about giving the great middle class their voice, right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's kind of what we do. You and I, however, now we talk about the voice of teenagers specifically, and parents of teenagers, and that communication. Why do we do that? Why did I, besides the fact that you're the most awesome person in the world, and that has nothing to do with the fact that I'm biased. You are, you know it. besides that, what have you and I talked about that? Hey, you know what, Emma? You got something special. I'm going to use special here, but that should be a key. Why did I want you to talk on this? Why did this show develop? And originally, why did I want you and I to have a little chit chat back and forth? What was that behind
I
the
don't know.
scenes?
You think that I'm intelligent and that
That's true. One third of it. That's our fourth of it. That's correct. Keep going. Forget about the fact you're pretty. You already know that. I know that. But that's two.
Well, I'm not thinking about that.
I know you're not. I just put it out of the way. Okay. Your parents and you have a pretty special relationship. You guys talk pretty regularly, and we've talked about how that compares to other people. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
So Christine's going to take over the show. I'll tell you what. So that's why that's basically you are a unique person in that at your age, at such a young age, you're independent. Not most kids at 16, 15, 14. They may be angry all the time, but they're not independent necessarily. That's a difference. You agree with that?
I'm kind of independent.
Meaning?
Well, I still have to rely on my parents for like basically everything right now. So I don't know.
Yes. Well, what I mean by that is an independent thinker. Sorry, I should have said that better. You know, you're able to express your feelings, your thoughts, and you come from an educated space. That's what I meant by independent. You can't possibly be independent. For God's sakes, if you're independent now, you're heading for doomsday. You know, they say that people who have kids before they've graduated their formal education are destined, it's like a 90% chance to be in poverty the rest of their lives. Big things, right? Yeah, it's important. Okay, let's see. We got to make a decision. This is partially your show too. You know, this is partially. Oh, wait. Before we go on, because there's a lot of questions, and they're actually outpacing. I think they got sick of Christina asking all the questions, and they started hammering questions in here. But before we do that, I wanted to say this. It occurred to me to bring up why the Regeneration School project is so important. The teenagers today, this could be the last or the first generation of the human experience. I mean, literally, you got this is why I think this has been so important and continues to be way more so important. And building on what you said, why I'm excited, why it could be something. You can't just have a teenager here, Emma. We have a good relationship. You know, I think we do. The audience does. They're fooled. They think we've got a pretty decent vibe. They like the way you say things and what you say, because it's not. You got an old soul. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Do you know what that means? Yeah. So you've got an old soul, and that kind of explains. And so being able to do this is critical, because here's the deal. Every generations have asked these questions. Read off two questions. Don't answer them yet, but read off two questions you and I worked on earlier. Just pick two at random. You and I will talk about them.
I can't look at them.
You can't. Oh, you can't look at your. I know. I sent them back to her guys on her Instagram. Here, I'll read two. I'll read the first one. What one issue or topic that teenagers your age? This is me asking you this question. Let's say, for example, remember we went back and forth on a couple of things, and then we also did some like samples, and we took these from questions you've already been asked. I think this one's already been asked a couple times, so we're going to focus on a thicker answer. And this question is, what one issue or topic that teenagers your age wish adults really understood better now already? That's one. The second one I thought was really cool, and that is not about the future. For families, no, that's a good one though. Middle schoolers. Second question. Think about this for a second. See, these are the things that it's so important that what we're doing, and we chatted about this and we chatted with people. We need to probably go back on the questions, but I just wanted to read the second question. Second question, which is, if you could give, or this is actually a comment. No, it's still a question. If you could give advice to middle schoolers, you, Emma, if you could give, if a middle schooler came to Mangum, sat down at the talk around the table. If a middle schooler came, they looked at the camera and said, "Emma, look, what advice would you give me as a middle schooler? I'm just a few years behind you. What about school and what about handling school and about handling life? These are the things that you talk about, because if this generation doesn't really, we've always had these questions. I mean, I, as a kid, had these questions, but we didn't move. Right now, first to last generation. Why? Because the world is moving at such a pace right now that you guys have what we've always dealt with and everything else on top of it at AI speed, right? I mean, isn't that kind of crazy to you?
Yeah.
Did I wear you out with my entree here into the conversation? We've already got a lot of questions.
Okay.
Once you start picking some questions out,
Okay.
try and do it in order if you would, just so that I can, if you need to step out, because I know families coming over, as we could hear the announcement happening right now live. The dogs are announcing
You can hear them.
our family. Oh, big time, yeah. And hey, it's live. It is what it is. So, talk to me, girl. Let's. This is
Okay.
our show, not mine.
Okay. Somebody asked, what do you think school should teach more about mental health? Well, you can hear all the kids. There's a kid crying right now.
I hear everybody coming in. Who asked that? Where are you at now?
I'm at like basically the first question.
Are you at Michael Linton?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, cool. Gotcha.
Okay. What do you think school should teach more about mental health? I don't know about more, but I feel like less. They should stop like telling kids to go to a hotline, because like 9 times out of 10, a kid isn't gonna go to a hotline, or really anybody. I don't think anybody's gonna sit there and call a hotline or like reach out to an adult. Like nobody does that. Nobody sits there and is gonna tell them, "Oh, I'm thinking this way. I'm feeling this way." Like that's just not.
Right.
People don't really
What
do
should
that.
that look like? What should that look like?
What should it look like?
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
you're not going to have somebody reach out to a hotline. That's challenging at best for an adult. So I get
yeah.
what you're saying for a kid. It's like that's kind of
Or
quit
even
it,
just
knock it
talking
off.
to an adult in general, because they're always talking about, oh, reach out to an adult, but a lot of people aren't going to reach out to an adult. A lot of people don't
What if
read
an
out.
adult reached out to them? What if adults were more aware?
I feel like still people wouldn't want to go and tell an adult that, or even their
Okay.
friends, like I think that people need to teach more about like coping mechanisms, I guess.
In school,
Yeah, on how to
like
deal with certain type
counselors?
of things. Yeah, but like, there's like teachers there's in school, there's like health class, and they teach you about mental health.
Yes.
But they tell you to
Yes.
go and talk to an adult, and I feel like instead of that, they should talk more about what you should do like to help yourself, because a lot of people don't want to reach out. So if you go in and
Let's
talk.
let's have her here. Let's have her here. What do you mean by that? So in health class, they bring it up. You should be talking to somebody. Are you
Mhm.
saying then that should then right there roll into class and saying, okay, here's an issue. Let's talk about that with them. Where are you going with that? What is that? What should that look like? Continue with what that should look like. Do you understand what I'm saying?
What it should look like.
Well, yeah. Sorry, I just love saying that description. What I mean is, you said in health class, they say mental health. This is what it looks like. This, and then they say you need to talk to an adult, to find out more information, right?
Yeah.
So what then should happen? It shouldn't be go find an adult. It should be what? What's
It
the
should
next
be,
thing?
I feel like, because they're teaching this, right? They're teaching you to about mental health. So
Exactly.
what they should
Yes.
be teaching you is how to help it. Like, and just talk to the class about it, not individually have you come to somebody about it,
Right.
because then it's a one-on-one, and kids know that they have to report things. So a kid isn't going to want to do that. A kid isn't going to want to
Oh,
and talk to an adult because adult has to report something. So I feel like rather than that, if you genuinely want to help them about like mental health, then just teach the class about it. Teach the class on what are good coping mechanisms and what are things that you should do if like you're having a panic attack, or just anything, if you're feeling stressed or anything. Just coach them on what to do when they're feeling wrong. Still tell them, hey, you should talk to an adult, but no kid's really gonna listen to that.
yeah. So there should be. So like in math, you have. Yeah, I mean, let's look at it this way. In math, you have like trigonometry, algebra. You have the different studies of math. Same with
Hmm.
history. You have different types of history or places in history. In mental health and in health sciences, let's say, that should be actually, instead of just saying, here's, if in math you just said, here's what algebra is all about, and then moved on to geometry. Did you ever learn about algebra? So you're saying that all the other courses may get into the subject, but in health, it's basically a course that says there are these other things. Oh, by the way, here's kind of what they are, but they don't actually teach what it is that you need to have good health.
Yeah, basically. They basically, like, in health,
That's
all they do
huge.
is teach the definition of like depression, anxiety, and like those type of things, but they don't tell you how you could help it. It's literally just writing down the definition, but like you could also like write down coping, like, like it's just, it doesn't really help.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, that's oh my god, and it's been like that forever. It's not like health is a new, and I never thought of. Oh my god, you're a genius, girl. Um, I never really thought about how, how we're talking about this, uh, talk around the table, giving teens a voice in this project, and then the regeneration school project, right? Right? Um, what we're talking about here is basically already in place within schools, um, so that this what we're doing here, these kind of discussions, then have people that are teenagers have them in addition to the questions that are here, and I already know there's a couple of people here from local, but having them live and then being able to roll into health and seeing how the schools in pilot programs say here in Arkansas, health is done like what you just described. The Emma health. That's not as catchy. That's not so catchy.
The Emma
You
help.
like Emma's Angels the other day. You liked that one though, didn't you?
That was cute.
I like that one. Nobody else knows what that means, but or why it is. But so okay, so you think do you think schools should teach more about mental health? The absolute answer is yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to change it. You just have to take health class and actually make it a course from the beginning, from young, just
Yeah.
like you do the other four. Is health a core? Health's not a core. It's an elective, right?
Isn't
There's there's four cores, right? Math,
it's an
science.
elective. It's an
Yeah.
elective.
So there's math, science.
And you take
There's
that in middle school.
you start taking it in middle
Oh
school.
wait,
Do you ever
yeah, you
take?
start.
Because you
I took
can
it my
take it
freshman year.
in high school.
Yeah, I took it
Yeah,
my
that's
freshman year.
see, there. what you just displayed there, right there, we've been talking about this, and we've been talking about what this looks like and so forth. And oh, are you back? Come back, come back. Your picture's gone. I don't want to tell the story without you not here. Say something. I want to see if your mic's on at least. No, you're totally gone.
Hello?
Oh, there you're back. You're back. There you're back.
Sorry.
Hi there. Hey,
Hello?
don't do that. We have almost 300 people on. Don't
No,
jump
I
it off
didn't
to
mean
go
to.
party.
I didn't mean to. Like my phone. I don't know.
Just
I was
went
trying
zap.
to reconnect it.
Oh, did it die on power?
No. I got a call and I was trying to decline the call and then I got swiped out of the thing, so I had to go back into it. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So I was telling the story of what you just made me think of. It's one of my favorite stories, and it's about perspective. Listen to this little story here. And so
All right.
there's the small town, along a freeway, and this little town, all of a sudden they started the freeway kind of went through their town. It's just a little tiny town. And so some people started notice there's like these lights and the freeway is kind of getting shut down and so forth and so on. And so these people started surrounding it, and they came down, and this little boy said, hey, he tapped one of the police officers or people in charge of his shoulder and said, hey, what's going on? He said, oh, don't worry about it. We got this. We're working on it. This truck, the big trucks that carry all the freight, went just a little too much. The underpass was just a little too low, and it got stuck. And it's stuck there. And we're trying to move it forward, move it back, do some take off tires, and the little boy goes, why don't you just let the air out of the tires? Be able to move it an inch forward. So having simple, different perspective makes a world of difference. You see what I'm saying there? You just let a little bit of air out of the tires, you can move the truck forward and fill them back up and go. So it's fascinating about life. Why don't we get on to some of these other questions? I know you're probably getting a little close, tight on time. You still okay? No worries yet?
Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to read from the top?
Yeah. Why don't you pick some up? Why don't you pick up Christine, see what she said? We already read the first one. I thought I was going to learn a little bit more about you, Rod, which I think we did. We picked up a little bit there. What's the second thing Christina said? I've known this lady 15, 20 years.
The second thing that Christina said, she said, getting ready does get you going, bring confidence, and helps you make the most of your day. And then she was saying, I was saying about you and the makeup. I love that you have her on here, reaches all levels of ages.
Okay, so the makeup part, I was thinking about this the other day, and I do not always love talking about makeup. Do not give everybody a wrong idea. However, I started thinking about, what are you going to say? Well, it's on film, there's evidence. What are you going to deny something that's out there? But the reason I'm fighting this so much is because this is actually an argument for the LGBTQ.
Look at what my mom got me.
What'd you get? Oh, what is that, a candle? Is that a candle?
No, it's boba. It's a drink.
Oh, I love that. That's so good. Oh,
wait,
so
I want to... Dean the Bean said, what do you think about Fortnite Season 6, Chapter 7?
Oh, is this who I think it is?
Wait, what did he say again? Hold on. Fortnite Season 6, Chapter 4.
Holy crap. We're way behind. Where's Dean Levine at? Is he towards the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't see. Okay, so, wait. Yeah. Oh, Dean the Bean.
There you go.
Is that him?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so answer him. We'll go back up and get a hold of a couple of things. What do you think about Fortnite Season 6, Chapter 4? I totally know what Fortnite is.
Do you?
Totally been involved in all. Oh, totally, absolutely. Remember,
really? We should play Fortnite. We
I
should
have
have
not.
we should have a
I have
stream
not.
one day. We should have a
Ooh,
stream one day where
ooh,
we play Fortnite.
that's a really good idea. You know, they do that, right? They have like the game playing, and then they're
Yeah,
talking, and they're okay. Yeah, we can do that.
we could do
I don't
that.
know how to set it up. It's actually easy to do. I can do it, you know, with that camera 4. I can bring that. I can. I don't know how I can do it. Present. Yeah, I can share a screen. That's easy to do.
We should play
You guys are
Fortnite.
gonna kick my ass though. My ass though. I haven't played in forever. How often do you play?
I beat Dean all the time, so it's okay.
Oh shit, Dean, really? She's calling you out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was. Is she as mean on Fortnite as you were talking about her being mean last night? Oh, how
No,
did the hairbrushing go? Wait.
oh my
How the
gosh, my hair was so tangled, and I was having him do it,
and
and like,
did he survive that? Dean, did you survive that?
yes, I don't even know if he's on here still.
He might not be. I don't know. I have no idea. So he survived it. You didn't beat him up too
Yeah,
bad.
not too much.
Right? I bet you he truly appreciates that. All right, let's go back to this. Let's see. Love how open and real this conversation is. Bob, thank you so much. Did we get all of Christina's stuff here?
Yeah.
Where were we? Oh, the makeup. So why I've been fighting this so much is because I kind of understand a little bit why how do you say that? LGBTQ? Is that the right? Oh, am I saying all? Anyway,
It was like
why that,
LGBTQ plus or something like that.
yeah, that, that, I've always heard, and I've been around this. We all have been around this for a long time. Not you, because you're younger. So this is one of the things. When you said the other day how much putting that on and getting made up, it kind of gets your sway on. It kind of gets your mood together, your vibe. It kind of
Well,
gets you
yeah, it's
ready to
like,
go out and take on the world. I get that community because I've heard nothing but that. That's why they do it. Now I don't know if that's. I'm not saying that's the reason, but when you said that, I connected a couple of dots. Go ahead, because it's important.
oh,
That's an important process to
well, I was just
people.
saying, like, getting up, going to go brush your teeth, taking a shower, blow drying your hair,
Yeah,
putting an outfit on. Like, it's just getting ready for the day, gets you ready for the day. Like, it's just, it's nice.
I don't think guys do that really. Not that it's a big deal. I'm not making some movement or anything here, but just something to talk about here. But then there's this community,
You don't put
and
on like a
everybody.
nice outfit and like,
Yeah, I mean it's so when you are getting ready for a big meeting, not everyday stuff. You just kind of throw it all together and get out there. But if there is a big meeting or something you do need to get ready for, because we got to be ready all the time in the way we approach the world. Not to say that everybody else doesn't, but from my own experience, just like you're talking about your experience, I'm talking about mine as a guy. Right? I don't know how accurate that is throughout the entire male human population, but it's got a pretty good percentage, I'm guessing. When I get ready, when I do this show, yes, and that's what's made me think about it. This process now that I go through is very important for me to get fired up because every show is big. When I was in the regular world, let's call it,
mhm.
the average when I was just running my business, you worked out, you did your thing, and then you just got in the office, and that's when the day began. Now I kind of get that. It's kind of an interesting concept. Um, how you
Dean
in the
said,
I was
Dean said,
oh,
I didn't survive that. She actually hit me. He's lying.
I don't know. There's two of them here, Mr. Duff. No, come on, you got to call me Rod on the show. Hey, call me Mr. Duff in other places, you know where. But here, you got to call me Rod. Nobody knows Mr. Duff. But thank you. I appreciate that. That's very fair of you. That was a sick reference. Which one? Wait, which one? You're quicker than I am on this.
I
What
have
does
no
Dean mean?
idea. I
Okay,
don't know what Dean.
I didn't. Let's see. What were we talking about? Sick reference. He's probably talking about you doing the hair. I don't know. I know there's something in there. I'm kind of getting his humor. He's pretty funny. Still don't like. You got to take that one picture down. I don't like or that video. That
Why?
I don't like that one. I mean, it's yours. So at the end of the day,
If
you
I'm
can tell
sticking
me to go
his
pound
finger in
sand.
my nose?
Yeah, I don't like
Why?
that. I have no idea. I just don't like it. But at the end of the day, you can go tell me to go pound sand. So I just had to throw in my 2 cents. Christina said agreed about what? What did she say agree with? I was
I don't
just
know. We're
going to say
behind on
she's
literally like
beautiful.
everything.
We're way behind. Um, love how to open the real conversation. This has been a little more real than normal, isn't it? How's your tea, you little shit? I'm so jealous. Look at what I got.
What'd you call me?
Nothing.
What'd you call me?
I didn't say
Oh,
anything.
okay. That's what I thought. My tea's
Yeah,
very
this,
good. Thank you.
all right. So, uh, how do you think schools should be teach more about mental health? We talked about that in the science process, which I love that because that's exactly this program we've been working on for so little now. Actually, if you look at it, it hasn't been that long. It's kind of built up. It kind of exploded over the show. There's been something I wanted to do for a long time, but I think the dots came together when we actually started doing the show and it kind of connected. Real estate with Kate. Oh, I remember this one from very early on in the show. Hasn't been on forever. Read this, please, would you? This one.
How can teens, how, hello? How can teens stay
Yeah,
confident when social media pressures them?
true.
I have an answer. S- I've said this so many times,
Yes.
and it's like so blunt, but like you just gotta be yourself. Like you just gotta be yourself. You have to find yourself. Like, and that's so hard for people because everybody wants to be like, oh, what's trending and yada yada. Which you could still like wear something that's trending because you like it, but don't do it because it's trending. Do it because it's like, oh, I like that. But like, just find yourself. You know, find out what you
Yeah,
like and stuff like that.
and that boils right down into that health class then, if they really boiled down mental health, there's so many things that would be these questions would go away to a great oh wait, show us Kitty or Bubblegum. What's his
Hello.
name now? It looks
I don't
smaller
know.
today. Why is he not looking very white today? Oh, but
White.
very Siamese right here. Very, very, very. This color's really coming
He's
in. The
so
white color
cute.
is cute. He's way
I
cute.
gave him a little Hello Kitty collar. You
Oh,
see
that's
it?
cute.
He's
Yeah,
a
I
boy.
do.
Dean doesn't like
He's
it because
chill.
he's a boy. But
Oh, yeah. He's chill today, though, isn't he? Is he
he
tired?
is. Yeah, well, we had him outside in the house with the dog, so he's like tired right now.
Been running around. Okay, let's get through while he's still knocked out here. So, as far as this, how can teens stay confident in social media pressures? You're so right. It really boils down to just you got to just say no. Not like
Yeah.
you'll just say no program back in the day in the '80s. That was kind of a joke, but you're right.
Hmm.
You have to be true to yourself,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and in that you have it goes back to that you've got to be stronger in you. Remember I said earlier you're very independent. You've got that independent thinking in mind.
Hmm.
And countering that a little while ago, we had several shows ago, you had made a point about people who in this space where you need a voice and you want a voice and you deserve a voice. You have to deserve it. You can't be that wallflower hiding in the back either, and
Yeah.
things like this either, right?
Yeah. You have to be outgoing. You have to talk and stuff like that.
Yeah, you have to be fair enough to other people to not. Oh, Christina, she was saying how beautiful you were.
Thank you.
Agree. Yeah, yeah. And now let's go on. Here we go. The luxury rental doctor show. I think This person about 2 months ago was a guest on our show. Very interesting business, high tech, AI kind of business for the medical industry. Big guy.
Okay. Do you think that grades matter more than creativity in today's world? I
Ooh,
think
that's interesting.
that schools think that grades matter more, but like I think in general, I think matters more when you're out in the real world, because grades don't really like define literally anything. It's just how you did in school. Your creativity means a lot, but schools do think grades matter more.
Yeah, and do grades? Their grades are quite subjective, right? I mean, are grades really as good as they are necessarily in one place versus another, and all that stuff? It's just part of that categorizing. Is it really doing that much good? The results of learning is good, and that's where I
Hmm.
think the creativity comes in, right?
Yeah.
That's a difference.
Um, is it
But
different?
I said that's a difference,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I think that like what you said about grades, like how they're different, like between different schools, you mean?
Yeah,
What you said?
different. I mean, heck, different parts of the country, different schools, different assets
Yeah.
within those
That's
districts. Go
why
ahead. Go
I
ahead.
don't
You were
that's
talking
why
about.
oh, okay. That's why I don't think that grades matter
Why
as
do you,
much.
why do you do that? So should I
I went
expect
on
you
to
to
what I
go?
was
Oh, okay.
saying, but I still went on to what I was saying. Get exactly. Go. Nah, go. Right. Um a lot of grades vary between like different cities, countries, and all that. So I really don't think it matters because they don't even stay on like a B somewhere. Even in my same school, a B in one class can be a D in another class. So it's like it doesn't really like it doesn't add up. It doesn't make that much sense. It would make more sense if everyone just had the same grade system, but they don't. And it does help you for college and whatever, but I feel like you could get so much farther with creativity than like if you're good at math or not. And then
Say that again. Hold on. Say that again. What do you mean by that? So
you
it's
could
only
get
if
so
you're.
much farther with you could get so much
Uh,
farther with creativity than like math. You don't use
so
everything
only.
for math, but you have to be very creative in the world on how you're going to respond to things, what you're going to wear professionally. Just creative. Like you get so much farther with creative or your personality or the way you handle things or how you
Gotcha.
talk to people than if you're good at math or not, you know?
Gotcha. Gotcha. So the grade you're saying with math is very very. Hey, it's got this much function, and that's really it. So at the end of the day, what's going to get you mainly through life is other knowledge, just knowledge, being smart, being
Mhm.
able to be intelligent, thoughtful, but then creativity, what you're going to wear, how's your style going to be. You're looking at this, do you need to adjust? That's creativity, is that's what you're saying, right?
Mhm.
This,
Okay. Somebody else said, "How do parents really start understanding their
hey
kids
Emma, were you
better?"
done with that last subject, by the way? Were you
Yes.
just done with it? Oh, okay.
Okay.
I just, I'm following. I'm doing better. I'm learning. I'm
Wait,
following
did you want
your
to
lead.
talk more about it? Because we could talk more about
No,
it.
not at all. I just wanted to harass you about it. That was very
Oh,
good.
okay.
I
Somebody
like, I
woke
like
up
that.
feeling aggressive. Okay,
Exactly.
so how do parents really start understanding their kids better? Oh, again, I think for anybody
This
to
is the one that we actually read earlier on. This is kind of similar. Remember, this is one of the ones. What do you wish? And I heard
yeah,
what you said, by the way.
yeah,
That's not my opinion, right? That's very
yeah, I
similar to that
remember what you're
question.
talking about, but I have a different answer for this. Um, I think that for like anybody, like I'm gonna just say this in general, like for anybody to understand kids or understand like your partner or to understand your husband or wife or just anybody, you kind of have to like be able to understand certain people's perspectives because your perspective isn't going to be the same as someone else's perspective on how they take things or how something is. So it's like you have to have the ability to understand somebody else's perspective to understand another person. Because if you're not able to do that, you're not going to understand literally anybody. So in general, that's how you like, you have to be like, okay, well, this is how my kid feels, that's their perspective on this, so I need to understand why do they feel that way, or stuff like that, like just in general, like it just, does that make sense?
Oh my God, that makes so much sense. Go through that last part again. And I know your mind's gonna freeze and you're gonna go, ah! But what you're saying there is powerful in that having an adult understand that the perspective of the child that's talking to them intelligently, right or wrong in certain avenues, doesn't matter.
But like
What does
sometimes
matter is that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
sometimes an adult won't understand why a kid is feeling a certain type of way, or literally anybody in general, adult to adult, a kid to kid, teenager to teenager, it doesn't
Sure.
matter. Like they won't understand that, and it's kind of like they won't be like, oh, well, why are you feeling that way? And you, when they explain it to you, you don't understand that, but you have to have the ability to understand somebody else's perspective. Like that's what a lot of people need to do better, and especially parents, because if you don't have the ability to understand another person's perspective, and especially parents don't like to understand a child's perspective, they hate having to do that because it's a child, so it gives you an excuse to treat somebody less because they're less intelligent. You just don't have to be understanding to them, like, but it's still human, it's still somebody that you have to respect or not, like that's your kid. So I feel like people just really need to learn how to understand other people perspectives and the way that they are, and just because you think something is a way doesn't mean that's how the person is going to take it, or that's how the way it is, or anything like that.
That's so powerful, and and you know what? It's funny because it's the same thing that us adults have to do to each other nowadays. We aren't even doing that for each other in a lot of cases, and to try and expect that from a child to a child, that child is really not in a fair position, because if that person, that adult, and there is a percentage of us that can't even take the consideration of somebody else's perspective into perspective. How is the child going to ever stand a chance? And what a powerful thing you just said, because it's the difference between uh, success or failure, right? I mean, that's
Hmm.
how you understand kids better. You just give them that space. You know what? The other reason I think it's uh, parents don't like to do it is, one, they have to think more,
Hmm.
because I could be wrong with an adult and kind of my way out of it. But if I'm wrong with my kid and I get called out and we don't have that relationship, you're used to calling me out. I make enough mistakes. I've given up on this pride a long time ago. But if the ability for a child, well, I'm sorry, I didn't say that. See, there I go again. If an adult, a parent says, "Hey, child, da 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 da," and the child goes, "Look, dad, pops, mom," very respectful, doing all the right thing. Look, this is how it is. And all of a sudden, that parent goes, "Oh, shit, he's right." Uh, that's a tough place for some people, and it shouldn't be, right? I mean, that's the hard part, right?
But a
That's
lot
where
of
we break it
people,
all down.
when somebody's right, they just still argue even though they're right. Like
Yeah,
they'll
and that's
realize mid argument that they're wrong and be like, no, I'm still gonna argue.
yeah, they got to get out of this somehow.
Dean said something else. He said he said that was a bar, Emma. I know. And then he said y'all should have a rap battle. Do you know how to rap?
Okay, no, not very good. Not. I'm not. Oh, well, okay. I'll tell you what, Dean, Emma, peeps, peeps out there. Um, I will I will make a dedication to work on it to where I wouldn't totally embarrass myself and just be stupid silly. and maybe in a month, a few weeks, something uh, we could do something like that. How's that? You got to work with me. Yeah, are you a good rapper? I have no idea your rap world.
No, you should do it, Dean. Then Dean
Oh,
should do it.
I'm not doing it with Dean. He's a
What?
guy.
I don't know how to rap. He always tries to get me to rap, and I don't even like. I don't even know
That's
like
why I'm
what to
gonna.
start with or like what to say.
That's why I want to do it with you and not him because he'll for sure kick my ass. At least with you, it sounds like I got a
Then you
shot.
gotta start. You gotta start practicing so you can beat him.
Yeah,
Can't
I
let him.
told you. I told you that. That was a bar, Emma. What's a bar? What does he mean by that?
Like a good sentence.
A good what? Say, oh, okay,
No,
cool.
say hi. Come here.
Who is he talking
Come
about?
here. Come
Who
here.
is he talking about? Who is that?
Me.
Is that mom?
My mom. What are you
Oh my God.
doing? You're
Hey,
not.
hey, hey. Hold on, I can fix this. Watch, watch.
Not in here.
Oh, I can't. Hey,
She thought she was in the camera way and she started crawling on the floor, but she wasn't even in the camera space. I have it towards this
no.
one, and she started crawling across the floor right
Where
there.
is she? Where
She
is she?
left. She left.
Would you tell her to knock that out? It's like
She
where's
doesn't want to be
Waldo?
on the
How
camera.
many? Okay, I get that, but you gotta capture her one time. She keeps jumping in here. Just okay. So how do parents really start understanding their kids better? So what you said so, but what's the step that we do? What do I have to do to say there's a point where you made it that was we have to respect and understand that your perspective, right or wrong, is got some value to it. So hear it out. Basically, is what you're saying. Hear it out and treat it that way. Boom. That's it. It's not a complicated thing. Don't be dumb about it, adults. Figure it
Yeah.
out. Um, and in that case, but what's the first step? So right now, nobody really does that. I mean, that's kind of an issue. That's kind of why we're here. That's why we're talking about it right now, right? What do we do? What's the first thing?
To
Step one.
understand somebody?
Yeah. So to how do no how do parents what do we do to really start understanding? So what physically do we have to do? I know it's simple to say just start understanding, just stop and listen, but there's a knee
Be
jerk
able to
reaction.
understand their perspective.
Yeah. So how, how I guess it's interesting. Uh, uh, there's so that you realize this? You've got to realize this. I assume you do. That comment is such a dramatic step back or step forward, however you want to put that. Step a step apart from how most people. In other words, for a child to say, "Oh, my dad just needs to," or my mom, whatever, just needs to say, "Oh, I'm going to give you more perspective. I'm going to give you more uh, understanding in your perspective." That doesn't just happen by somebody saying it. How does that? What can facilitate that from not happening to somebody making the first move? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think.
I like
Um, I don't know, cause like for me, it's just you really have to understand. You have to understand that not everyone's perspectives are the same. So you really have to sit down and listen and be like, okay, I just have to look at it
Wow.
on how they feel. Like you just have to be understanding of somebody else's feelings and perspective and how somebody else thinks of something. Because just because you feel this way about it and you think it's silly that they feel the type of way about something doesn't mean they do. It's just like you kind of just have to sit down and be like, okay, this is their point and I need to sit here and listen and understand what they're saying. Like I just need to sit down, not have any thoughts in my head or have an ego when they're saying it or sit there and think of an argument to put, just sit there and listen to them talk and not talk over them or not like for parents they'll be like, oh, like
speak when spoken to, or I'm talking, or you don't get to talk right now, or something like that. You just kind of have to have a conversation and just understand.
Do you think that parents are more emotional at this level in their conversations than not? As a percentage. Okay, so you're going to want to be heard on important things. Hey, how's the weather? What's going on? Half the time, your parents want to say, "Hey, how'd it go in school today?" And all you say is, I'm broad brushing this, but
Oh, I tell
the
my
whole
mom
thing
like
is,
everything in school.
and normally people are like, "Oh, it's not that, it was fine." Okay, well, what does fine mean? Oh, leave me alone. I gotta go get something done. Communication is not common. Well, my understanding is that, and I get that it isn't from experience as well. Communication isn't necessarily that, where now there's a lot of people that, but it's sprinkled more than common, I think. I tell my mom everything about what happened, and that I can tell you is the truth because you and your mom
She got
take it on
used to
to,
it because I would tell her, like, I would call her right after I
yeah.
got out of school because she would take forever to come and get me. So I would call her and tell her about the day while she's on her way to come and get me, because like it takes a while for her to
Oh,
get there. And
yeah.
Dean had went to pick me up on Friday, and she was like, "But I want to chat with you though. I want to talk to you." So she called me when I was in the car and like asked about my day and was like talking and chit chatting with me. It was cute.
Uh, That is cute. So now that when there's that case that it can't happen, she still needs that juice. She needs to have that a conversation with the girl. That's awesome.
Mhm.
You look less stressed popping your nails this time than before. So discover Connecticut. Hey, this guy pops on and off every now and then. That's interesting. Um, uh, this is a good question, actually. This is a very good question. I would love to hear it. Read it. Why don't you?
Emma, what inspired you to be a host on this live series? Originally, I went on here to make my grandpa happy because he just kept calling me and texting me about it. So I came on here to make him happy and make his have
I
fun.
think that's a. I think. I think that's a very nice way of saying I just came on to shut my grandpa up because I
No,
was getting tired of him
no, that's not what I came on
harassing
here.
me.
No, I did it
That
to
was
make you happy, okay? I'm not trying to
no,
sugar.
absolutely.
But
So since then,
just to have some chats because we're able to talk and then also do what you like to do, be on live and just to chat between us and be able to have fun with it.
it's actually quite a blast because also it's like we're chatting, we're going along. I mean, you and I can chat easily for 20, 30 minutes without, whatever. I mean, in normal cases, it could be others, but it's not hard to chat, which I told you before blew me away as time went on because I couldn't imagine talking to my kids or you or anybody for more than a few minutes. What are you going to run out of stuff to say? But this is also a cool format because it gives some real interesting questions to be able to learn more about each other as we go along. And that's why I love about this show, huh? Whoa, what's this?
What?
Did you hear what I said? Can you hear me?
No, I didn't hear what she said. What happened?
You didn't hear anything I just said?
It kind of cut out.
Aw, dang! I'm not going to repeat it. It took too
Oh,
long.
okay.
It was really heartfelt, though. It was a
Do you
lovely comment.
understand the question that Dean put?
Here, put it up. Would you click on it and put it? Oh,
I
you
don't know how
can't.
to do
Can you?
that. Oh wait, yes I
Where's
can.
Dean? Can you?
Did I?
No. I
Oh.
I I meant to point not soon auto correct be jumping me. Is that what he's talking about? Or y'all should have a rap
Okay,
battle.
no, he said what's a misconception that
Okay.
usually brought
that's usually brought upon teens that I don't agree with, Emma Lynn.
It's a misconception that usually brought that's usually brought soon teens that I don't agree with.
Upon. He meant upon instead of soon.
Yep, I get that. That's usually brought upon teens maybe too soon. What's a misconception that's usually brought upon teens too soon that I
No,
don't
he just
agree
meant
with?
upon instead of soon.
Oh, all right, fine.
He said it in the chat, so I don't know. I don't
So
really
what do you think
understand
he's?
what misconception is. How do you
Um,
explain
so
misconception?
misconception is you and I've talked about this.
I know,
Something
but like
similar. I
in
think
this
we.
sentence, it's
Yeah.
confusing me.
So you know something that I don't know that
I do.
Dean
I see that.
disagrees. Well, you know a lot of things that Dean knows that I don't know. But what is a misconception? I'll get to that word in a second. That's usually brought on against teens
I
that I
know. I
don't agree with.
understand like
So
the
there's
question.
something that he doesn't agree with. It's a misconception. In other words, I as Rod Duff, Rod. I, as this guy right here, assume my conception of teenagers is that they're all lazy and want to live in their parents' basements until they're 30 years old. That's a misconception.
My
My
mom wants me to live
conception.
at the house until I'm 30.
Your dad wants you to live at the house till you're after 30. I think he's talked to me about it. He's
Wow.
not going to let you leave, even if you want
Wow.
to.
I don't know. He doesn't.
So,
I
what
don't
is the
know.
misconception that you know about that Dean doesn't agree with? Which I assume since it's a misconception, he wouldn't agree
The
with.
only thing that I could think of is like, because we've talked about how like smoking, like we don't agree with that.
Which is let's talk about the
Smoking,
smoking thing. Now, are you
like
talking
we
about
just don't
vaping? Are you talking about smoking? Or are you talking about the
smoking in
same thing
general,
as the same thing?
like
Okay, all of that
like
stuff combined.
all of it in general, like we don't agree with it. That's like all I could think of though. I'm like waiting for him to like put something else because I don't really like.
Well, I mean, anything that's a misconception, I'm thinking that he is going to disagree with that. So that's one. Um, but on top of that, what is it that you and he have talked about? Smoking is obviously one that you've talked about. That's a misconception of teens. Is there, teenagers are sexually irresponsible. I'm being a little aggressive here. I don't know where you want to go in conversations. Teenagers are less thoughtful than parents give assumption that
Well,
they may be about the
also
future.
teenagers.
God,
So many things I could say. There's literally so many
there's
things I
so
could
many
say.
things, so
Um,
many things.
a lot of teenagers do have sexual activities with a lot of people or a lot of people at once.
Whoa! Oh, you mean like different partners, but
At the
while they're
same
seeing
time.
one, they'll see another one, right? Wow, teenagers, that's young, isn't it? That's crazy.
Yeah, I've heard crazy stories. You wouldn't even believe
We'll
it.
leave those for another. We'll leave those for another show. I assume there are some crazy things that happen out in the world. I mean, you were talking about kids. One of their favorite videos is the beat up each other videos. I'm looking for right now. I'm looking for where is it?
I'm gonna start have to heading out in a little bit because the family's been over here for like an hour.
All right. So why don't we do a couple things? Well, we're at an hour now anyway. I can take over the show. I mean, upon not soon autocorrect. Okay, we already did. Let's do what's this? Amazing conversation. Here, why don't you read this?
Okay. Amazing conversation here. Do you believe that mentors outside of family, like coaches, teachers, or community leaders, is just as important as having a supportive parent? Yeah, I do. I believe
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And that's definitely something I want to expand upon because it's part of that program that you and I are talking about. And then Citrus Hill again here, she had said something earlier.
Thank you for the discussion. How can we get more parents to actually listen and not just hear their teens try to open up? Um, a lot of the times when a teen tries to open up, a parent will immediately just get mad because of what they're hearing. But it's like you have to understand that's their life, that's how they're feeling, and it's like a parent acting out or just doing that is gonna make them feel I don't know.
No, sounds perfect. Exactly what you're saying.
Did that like I felt like I
Yeah.
wasn't going through with the question. It like didn't like yeah, I feel like a parent getting upset because of what they're hearing is gonna make the teenager feel worse. So it's like a parent just like my parents always tell me they're like, like but this doesn't really go through with the question. I was gonna say, my parents always tell me like if you ever did something bad, tell us. We won't get upset. We'll be more happy with the truth than you lying to us about it, and we'll help you get out of that situation. So we can help you rather than finding out and being it a whole messy thing. Just tell us, and we'll help you. It'll be better than you lying.
Yeah, and that kind of goes to tying into what she's saying, and then we'll let you give a final comment if you'd like, and hop off. But let me just tie into what you're saying there for Citrus. I think um, when what you just said, if 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 I'm a parent and you tell me something that I don't want to hear, like you said, now I get upset because I don't want to hear it. Not that it may be right or wrong. That has really nothing to do with my reaction at that moment. And the problem with that is where that whole communication starts to break down because now that adult is attacking the person that depends, like you said earlier. I can't be independent. I totally depend on it. But that adult is now attacking that child who totally depends on that person, not for what they said, but not because of how they're thinking, but because what they think, they're giving an answer that the adult just doesn't like. It doesn't mean that, and that's a basic fundamental breakdown. That's what you were talking about, right? All right, why don't you just kind of wrap it up for Citrus and us, and I'll go through some of the. It's like if you, by the way, is Dean there with you? Is he at the family thing or is he somewhere else?
No, I don't know where he's at right now.
All right, so
He
tell
said
him
he would.
He would what?
No, I'm just throwing shade at him because he said he would come over here.
Oh, he said he would come over. All right. Well, as you're throwing shade at the man that you hold dearly in your life, why don't you say hi to everybody? Give him a big wave. Give him a last thought. Encourage him to sign up.
You always tell me about last thoughts, and I don't have a last thought. I never do.
All right. Tell people what is the most fun thing you could think of if you could just think of anything? What is the most fun thing you could think of right now to do?
Get canes.
Oh, you're making me hungry. Okay. Well, everybody, as you're getting ready to mentally, and me too now, head off to Canes, give everybody a big wave and we'll throw you in the green room. There may be some Canes there waiting for you. Who knows?
I can only dream. Okay. Bye, guys. Thank you for the questions and everything. I'll talk to you later after. Bye. Yeah.
All right. That's it. Love you. I'll see you later.
Love you. Bye.
All right. There we are. Another awesome job by the most wonderful, awesome person in the world. And she owes, a lot of credit to a lot of other people for that. And they're also awesome people, but not as awesome as she is. she's more awesome than any of the sons that are apart. Okay, she's out of the green room. She's back in the family. Dean, Emma is not good at kangaroo bingo. All right, Dean, chill out here. I'm going back to some of the other people, and I'll come back down to you. Looks like you got a lot of ones to catch up on. So we're here. I'll wrap up. It's been a great day. Another beautiful day in the neighborhood. Let me see if I hit everybody here. Let me click on a couple. What's been the most surprising thing that you've heard so far? Investment talk. Curious, how do teens usually respond after joining this table? Got a number of things that got to hit back up on here. Love this live chat. It's full of wisdom. And I appreciate you guys really coming through and bringing some really cool and informative information. We talked about this right here. How can schools support students' mental health programs better? There's a health program in there. It's an elective now. We talk about the 5 core subjects. Right now there's 4. There's history, science, there's math, history, science, and English, or spelling, same, depending on where it is or what level. And there needs to be a 5th core. There's electives, one that's called health, and it could just be kind of dialed right into the current curriculum in school systems across the nation. We want to start a program here in Mangum that's a core, that's a 5th core. Let's call it a 5th core project, the Regeneration School project, and that project has the health module be mental health, career health, financial health. It brings through a counselor and teaching program to bring through all these things that prepare people to become adults, to be able to break all the issues that mental health accumulate to become later in life. And it's a program that I'm very, very excited about. We need some support. We need continuing and growing support. We're having a lot of sponsors jump on, and we're getting excited that people are wanting to do that. I've been the last 2 days I've been doing office work trying to set them up and get them ready, and hopefully be able to bring them into the fold. Anybody out there, please help out. And that's how, Lucy, that's how people can support mental health in the schools programs better. Do you think it's hard for some teens to trust someone to talk to? Yes, it's very hard. So to call a hotline may be hard. Yeah, we talked about that, Christine. Great point. It'd be very difficult. And like Emma said, quit bringing that up. It's not ever going to work. Adults have enough trouble with it, much less teens. So knock it off. Stop it. Let it go. Hotlines are not. I don't know what hotlines are. They're certainly in this case not something. Now, if somebody wants to reach out, but what Emma then rolled over to, instead of hotlines, we have health classes. In health classes, we should start teaching health, mental health. Instead of saying go find somebody to talk to, start talking about it. And don't start calling somebody out in class. Doesn't need to be that. But what it can be is that place where somebody starts learning, and then finding their voice without being directed, pointed at, called out. Anyone else learning something new every single week? Thank you very much, Sean. I appreciate it. This is an important mission, and it's things that we've only started to scratch the surface. And God, the feedback, the data, the stuff we can pull from creating a pilot 5th core class, let's call it, for the academics of the school system. right here in Mangum could be something so dramatic and so just powerful. I'm just very excited about it. Thank you, Sean. I love this show that we do. Curious, how do teens usually respond after joining this table? So we have a number of okay. Invest Talk. I appreciate you coming on and chatting with us. If you've been on for a while, you know the table right now is we have a program. I don't even think I have anything up. I wasn't gonna open this up. Let me see if I have. Give me a second here, folks. I'm gonna look real quick. If I have something open, I'll throw it on camera 4. Why is that like that? Here, I got a better idea. Let me do it this way. Minimize, open. It's not even on YouTube. No, there's really nothing open that I can show. I'll show it next time, folks. But if we go back and we look at what this program is, right now it's Grandpa Rod and Emma Lynn. You know, Emma Lynn is co-hosting with me, or I'm co-hosting with her. She's really, she knows her voice and is finding it more and more, which is very exciting to see. It's an extra benefit to me because it gives her and I a weekly, besides the other times that we chat for 15 minutes here, for 2 minutes here, for a couple of texts here and there, back and forth throughout each day. It gives us that once a week to sit down and say, hey, tell me about some big issues of your day today. And this is kind of that part of that conversation. And it's thrilling to be part of with her. And, I hope it becomes something more and more in our family that, not that it isn't there. As a matter of fact, it very well could be. And more than I have understanding of. Ronaldo, I'm getting to you, I promise. Curious so as far as how they usually respond, the people that come onto the show respond hugely. Very exciting to see how that's coming along. People being able to be respected and be seen. And like Emma said, there are kids out there that are just jerks and are going to want to argue. That's not what we're talking about. But we are talking about a place that's, I'll say the term I hate, a safe space, for kids to come and chat. Right now, I'm only set up for like this, not in person. So I'm right now looking to move to that next spot, which will be a 3-month program to starting the actual pilot program. First 3 months are Emma and I doing this show, what we just did today, just like it is now. And by the way, great show. I appreciate you guys all being here and being here throughout. Please like and subscribe. Tell all your friends. Get some people that want to support us and want to give donations. Our PayPal account is jr at ims-pt.com. Donations or any subscriptions there, obviously, please join in. As far as responding when they're at the table, it's been beautiful. We've had 500 people. We have 240 people here on a Saturday, still after Emma's is left. And it's just very, very, very fun. And we haven't even really gotten together on this show, really. We're just kind of, her and I have been playing around with it for a few months now. And you saw today, she's starting to get very, very comfortable in how that goes. And as she gets more comfortable, I'm kind of coming back. I'm sitting back more and more as I can. So hopefully more teens and she can have more conversations. And every once in a while, somebody's going to want to have a conversation and ask me a question. But I love the way this is moving along. Mario, what's been the most surprising thing that you've heard so far? Um, the acceptance of doing this, the thrill, the desire, the people asking how to get involved and wanting. I didn't realize how viral is a wrong word, but how thirsting, how much people are thriving for this information, who are needing the answers to the actually want to be in communication with their kids or their parents. Every episode feels more powerful than the last. Thank you so much, Kate. I appreciate it. Not your average investor. This was somebody on our show. What does success mean to you personally? That one I'm going to save for Emma. But I think you guys have kind of got an idea of where she's coming from. Boy, a lot of people came off at the end here. Sorry, guys. But, I can tell you that her own success, I can tell you right now she's not on. But as far as her own success, she kind of let it out a little bit today. But I think she's really starting to enjoy this thing that her and I are together doing. And it's our little project. And she's finding a voice to talk about and talk to people with. And people are asking her, important questions. And I think that's a huge level of success. I know for me personally, so I may be wrong about this, but I'm answering her question from my perspective. And for me personally, at 16, I mean, that was in the 70s, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And my biggest thing was just being seen by somebody if I dressed up and walked around in what were those things called? It's not a zoot suit, but what were the 70s things? And I remember my sister one time saw me getting cleaned up and I wanted to go out and hit the streets. I think that was the biggest thing near this at all that I ever had the thought of or possibility of. So I'm kind of excited about what I believe her success is so far with this show, and it's just being here and having this communication. Do teens feel heard enough in their communities today? No, everything. You've been on. You like these shows. You don't go on the other shows, Mr. Florida. So there's something going on in Florida that's appreciate you being on. Hope me shouting you out isn't a big deal. But Emma's mentioned this a number of times in that no, they don't. They don't feel heard, and that's kind of the issue. And then we ignore it as adults. So there's this vicious cycle that's part of our world today. And then here's Dean. Emma, what do you think about Fortnite? She never answered that question. She threw out a challenge for me to play Fortnite with her, which I accepted. And she doesn't know that I was mean little. Well, Brandon and Austin can tell her. Well, Austin can tell her. She obviously hasn't talked to Austin about it. What's the toughest topic you've had to discuss so far? Hey, Cape, I'm going to leave this to Emma. These are some really freaking great questions, folks. I mean, these are awesome. But I can tell you, one of the toughest topics is how do we have communication in schools? And I can tell you right now for Emma, we're not even at this circling within yourself. The school system is so academically challenged, and the priorities of a lot of the administration is not towards this. So the topic of school adjusting itself, becoming adjusted. Yeah, sorry guys. To become not fundamentally different, but personality different, person-wise different. We can get into all that. That's the most difficult thing coming up in what has been. John here, Jason, sorry. How do you keep the conversation so authentic? Yeah, there was a time not so long ago, Jason, that I can speak for. I can't speak for Emma, but Emma's authentic. She's a very authentic person. You started chewing me out. She's made. I tell you what, that girl right there, that young lady, that young girl. Well, not a young girl. That girl who's coming towards eventually going to be a young lady. For I don't want to go too hard. I don't know who's still left on here, but I don't want to go too hardcore here. But that young lady, Emma, is. I've told her this. Don't know if she's really kind of listened to it, but my coming back. Anybody who's been on the show for a while knows what I mean by that. Coming back to the family is a great deal because of her. And I talk about harassing her to come onto the show and do the show. And it's because, and the reason being, not because she made it so simple, but because of who she is, that made her make it so simple for me to do that. And when I put two and two together, and I said, there's an angel here. There's a thing. There's something here. I don't know how to describe it, but there's something here. This isn't just a grandfather and a granddaughter, whatever. But there's something here. Why did this work out this way? Why, I was talking to somebody in town here earlier about a building and about something. And that person said about being curious, how important being curious is. And when you go to certain places in the world, you find out that there's people that just are not curious and don't want to be curious and don't go somewhere else and haven't learned these other things. These are some of the big challenges we have, not in our ideas, but in the people that don't share or have our ideas. That's where the bigger problems come. And that's how we keep things authentic, because we're walking through this, man. Dean, Mr. Duff, that was a sick reference. Thank you, brother. I did survive it. So he's talking about the brushing of the hair. I actually had to get off the phone last night. This was, I don't know, God, what time was it? It's probably about, she called me and it was just, oh yeah, it's like 8:30 my time. And I said, oh my God, you just called. And she's like, no. And I said, no, are you kidding me? Let's talk. And then all of a sudden, I hear Dean kind of scrolling in the background. And she's pounding on him because he's not brushing her hair right. It was a little overdone. Have you guys, I think on the show we went through this a little bit. There's been a mini drama. There's been a very mini, but a drama, a hair drama. Some wrong colors, and then meaning more color has to be put in. I guess it was right. I do like talking about hair and makeup for a little more than I thought it did. But her, and when that happens, I used to talk a lot with producer Barbie about this. I think that's how it kind of came in. But that whole hair color thing. So when you have to bring a color, and certain combinations are worse than others, but when you have to bring a color back and that bleach, it becomes very brittle. So you can literally brush hair out of your scalp in the brush roll. So Dean didn't survive that. He limped away. I I believe you. I've been there, my friend. A woman is a very strong and correct person. 1974. What's your favorite color? I'm a beige man myself. Uh, Beige is cool. I really started to understand. I doubt this was for me for some reason, but I'm going to answer it just because. 1974. So that means I'm assuming being born. I was in 63. So we're talking 50 something years old here. If that's what this person's referring to. Beige makes sense during the 70s. It was big. The earth tones were big and shag carpet. You remember those? I'm 60, so I have probably a little bit more experience than you did on that. Green shag, if you ever been to Elvis Presley's home, the one that's famous, he has a couple of them, but one that's famous. Hey, by the way, I just found out today that Colleen Ford has a building here. Well, did, not anymore. That's all gone. But somebody thinks it might be the Model A or the Model T. I'll have to look it up. But there's a Ford production plant here in Mango. I had a little tour with it. It's now part of the fire department. And did you know that the third oldest? Remember the first? There's a light bulb out there that's the oldest burning light bulb. It's been since 19 something, or the original light bulb. There were actually three of them, and then the second one burned out. And then last year or a couple of years ago, this one burned out in Mango. Made a big deal. It's been around since the Edison, right? So a little bit of history there. I'll bring more about that. I'm really wanting to kind of do in that man of the street idea, which is kind of the kids voice thing. But now there's this maybe man of the street ought to come back a little bit more and start going across to small towns across the country. I wonder if I could get some way to get people backing that and be able to go across the country, because I love to travel. Meaning I love to drive. I love to fly, but I'm not. I love driving because you're here. I see my dogs are with me, and it's just a lot more fun. It's not comfortable. Well, actually, it is more comfortable if it's a shorter trip because flying is like cattle calls now. All right, let's get back on. So my favorite color is blue. It has been blue for a while. You can see these glasses are kind of a smoke, kind of a blue grayish color. The next glasses. By the way, I found my glasses. These are the ones I lost when I first moved here. I was so bummed, but finally I found them right back over here behind this cabinet. Strange things. But now I got to find the other one, which is the newer pair. But for me, blue, I think, is my favorite. But I do like a good combination of things. Gray, I really like. Blue and gray is a good well, you see that. Blue and gray is a good combination. I like brown. I like certain shades of brown. I like green. Earth tones are cool. So that's that. Be authentic and think for yourself. Absolutely, Christine. That's the only way around it. Ronaldo, how are you? Another friend today. How are you? Hopefully I get a text from you. I didn't talk to you a little bit. Ronaldo, this show will not just help teens connect. It's a great way to see the two of you interacting with each other as a grandpa, granddaughter, and grandpa. This has been fun. Yeah, it has. It's been a blast. Oh my God, I still have so much to do. Sorry, guys. We just kind of got a little lazy today. Honestly, a bunch of friends came on. So we just kind of, what we're doing here. I mean, literally, everybody in the screen I'm looking at right now, all the questions in this comment section of the screen I just happened to stop on, every one of those people are family member of sorts. Maybe not first family, but family member. We've been together. We're family. like we know each other more than just a show. So this has been, you know what, everybody here that isn't part of who I'm talking about right now, this has kind of been special to me because this is a show where we're just all, it's like Thanksgiving, but in, where are we, August? Yeah, August, the end of August. It's like Thanksgiving, I guess, because I don't know. I think we were talking about this before, but a bunch of people came over to my son's house today out in California. He's got a farm out there, a little bit of a farm. And what he does is chickens, eggs, poultry, and that poultry includes ducks, turkey, chickens. He got rid of the quail because there was such a big space, and then because his turkey thing was going. But a bunch of people are coming over to kind of dial in on what turkey is coming up. Thanksgiving's almost 3 months away, so. I love the way this is rolling out, and Ronaldo, this is Dean. He's part of the family. He's I don't know if Dad and Mom always have the same thing about part of the family when it comes to a gentleman caller for their family, but that was a bar, Emma. So he's part of that family. Y'all should have a rap battle. AI helping with rap. Al help with rapping. AI. Ooh, that's a good idea. Ooh, I like that, Christina. That's pretty clever. I like that. That's very good. Let's see, what is a misconception that usually brought something? So we talked about this. And then I meant upon not soon so the autocorrect screwed him up there. It's hard to take others' perspective because their feelings at the same time create the perspective. Yeah, so that's a great point, Christina. But I agree, you have to try to see where their perspectives start to help the understanding. Great point. I'm glad we were able to come back and kind of hover here for a second because Christina's got an awesome point here. In that, knowing somebody else's perspective or not knowing it, because you may not, and realistically, there's times that you're going to talk to people and probably more than a little bit, but you're not going to know their perspective on this or that. Family, obviously, is going to be something different than a business person or somebody you happen to meet somewhere or at one of these parties I talk about. Where this is, so people are sitting down talking about a conversation. Now we got family members that are joining in and they're curious about it. They're making comments and saying, "Hey, that's right, I agree with this. What about this as well?" And here's Christina. It's hard to take others' perspective because their feelings at the time create that perspective, and she's so freaking right. You may have a perspective about something, but if you're at a moment or there's something going on, or you're just not feeling good, there's all sorts of things that can change that perspective, or certainly alter it, certainly ignite or deflate it because of your feelings. Feelings are a big deal. We talk about the brain, the heart, the brain mind, the head brain, the heart brain, and the gut brain, right? Your gut perspective. What does your gut feel? But then she goes on to say, the feelings create that perspective. And it then goes on, I agree, you have to try and see where their perspective start to help in understanding. Great point, Christina. I love that. I've always known that about you, but man, that's powerful. That was awesome. That was really, really, really good. So Jason here, amazing conversation. Do you believe having mentors outside of family like coaches, teachers, or community leaders is just as important as having? And this is kind of where she left off here at the end. And Jason, you're right. I mean, there's all sorts of things. And this kind of also leads into our Regeneration School project, because I think that this, in addition to schools, coaches, teachers, community leaders, in addition to these, I part of this fifth core project is having that set of counselors that follow kids through teaching. You have your classes about math, about economics, about not math, sorry, about economics, about learning the finances, about learning what's important to you, learning about this, and going and building from the inside out. This is building the middle class from the inside out. And so, yeah, having supporting parents is critical, and not always the case. And people talk about a village to grow it takes a village to grow to raise a child, to raise a family, and that's true to a degree. But what we really need to be and start doing, if you remember in Jesus's day, we talked about giving a person a fish or teaching them to fish, and the difference in that. And when a village raises, we still haven't gotten rid of it's not a band-aid, but it still hasn't gotten to the core. Why is that child needing that much? Why isn't there more Emmas in the world? And I'm being biased about saying that. Just give me that one, okay? Why are there more issues than there are? Why is 70% of people today, that includes children and adults, teenagers and adults, why are 70% dealing with some sort of mental illness, depression, on and on, ADHD, on and on, suicidal tendencies, so to speak. Then we go back to Christina here. There was a little bit of a battle going on back and forth here. Parents want kids to be happy and good life and have a good life. True. When kids come to us that they are hurting and we have done all we can do to have that, it hurts us too. That makes it hard to gain perspective too. Oh, that's a great point. Oh man, I wish we would have got onto that. We got so tracked down in these awesome. I mean, you know what? Today was a special day. Today was an unbelievable day, and the amount of questions and how those questions rolled out and what those questions were fascinating. It does hurt. Yeah, no, I totally get you. And I think that's where, in our program, the Regeneration School Project, we talk about in that pilot program, we have tier 1, tier 2, which then brings in leaders from the volunteers from the community, from the churches, and the counselor programs around, and where we can start to have counselors start bringing in some of these life lessons to be added to the curriculum. And then after that point, then that's where we start to get into, okay, there's an actual budget, needs actual money. And so the first part is 3 months. Second part is 6 more months. And now we're at 9 months. And this is ish, And then the last part's 12 months. And that part is where the meat and bones of the actual curriculum gets built and put together. And by people that are way smarter than I am. Parents and kids sort of, yeah, Christine, it does hurt. And that's why this program needs to be an after school type program for adults, as well as for kids. And I met the wife of the principal of the, that K through 3, something like that, that early school timing as kids are going to develop. And it would be so awesome to start there and then that be a class to start tracking. And AI could be, Christine, you mentioned AI earlier about rapid. That's true. I didn't think about that. That was clever. But that also for tracking, for starting a run Mangum, and that's a 12-month program, and then that gets us into the following year. Really, not a lot of data to start pulling, but maybe some of the parental stuff. Maybe we take a group of kids in their teenage years also, and start tracking that through and see there's data out of there. I don't know. I need help. There's a lot to do. There's a lot of stuff that people need to know that are, smarter than me. I think I got all your questions here, Christina, didn't I? Yeah, it does. It's hard to, and that's where emotions are very critical, and they're important in our lives, and they're part of who we are. But they also have to be part of an objective, that we're able to be objective, to look back at our emotions and say, hey, is that having an effect on what my perspective is? And that's where some of this aftermarket stuff, and additional job training, AI's coming. There's a lot of reasons for this program, folks. A lot of reasons. Thank you for this discussion. You're very welcome, Ms. Hills. How can we get more parents to actually listen, not just hear what their teens are trying to open up? Yeah, that's so true. We talked about this. You know what? Get involved in this talk here. Get involved in what we're doing and how things are going, and be part of the movement. I bet you don't know why I met you too. I don't know why it went on. It's like a view or opinion that it was like a kangaroo bingo. All right, so we're going to up there, Christine. All right, I'm out. So at the end of the day, folks, this is Insights, and this is Straight Talk. I'm so very glad that you're here. I'm so blessed that the show is doing the things that it's doing, and I appreciate y'all being here. And I'm out.
Before you leave, if you'd like to watch another one of the podcasts, click the first link in the description. We love having you here, and we appreciate all your support.
And with that, producer Barbie and I are out.